Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Friday morning, and Friday means a visit from Dave Rodman at Laurel Park. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, Seth, how are you today?
Very good. Happy to have you on board as always. We'll talk a little Laurel today, and then in a few minutes I want to go back and get some of your thoughts on 4 really nice stakes races from last Saturday as well. But it's that time of year when we definitely have to check what's the weather look like today.
Well, it's not snowing. Yesterday we had a pretty good situation with some rain. Some snow. Big fat flakes yesterday, but no real accumulation at all. Yeah, cloudy today and chilly, but nice day for racing.
Well, we had the snow, we had the accumulation. Yesterday was my first snow blow day, and it's not even winter yet officially, so I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that, but it happened. But we'll take a look at some of the races for today again before we look out and recap the action from last week. Today's third race at Laurel is a maiden claimer, $20,000 to $25,000 tags. These are 2-year-old fillies going 6. What did you think in the third?
Yeah, well, Michael Trombetta has been on a roll this month at Laurel. He won 3 races yesterday. Currently tied up at the top of the trainer standings with Claudio Gonzalez. He's had a big month after kind of a flat November, and that's the way things are in racing. He's got a first-time starter in here, 2-year-old filly Leoness. Lionheart mare Leonine, I guess. This is the first foal out of the dam, and the dam was over 12, so that doesn't sound good. But you look at Michael Trombetta with 2-year-old filly maiden claiming first-time starters. He's had 8 starters in the last 5 years, 5 times in the winner's circle. Boy, I sure like to strike at that rate when playing the horses. And 88% in the money, and just excluding fillies. He's 8 for 24, 33%, and also a positive ROI. Everything he's sending out is really hot. I do want to note the 5 cotton letters. We've had a few kind of dead rails here lately, or the inside's not so good, or advantage to the outside closers, whichever way you want to put it. And number 5 cotton letters, whom I loved last time out at 6-1, was kind of bogged down inside in a duel there. So maybe look at those two.
All right. All right, let's shift our attention now to the 4th this afternoon at Laurel. That's an optional claiming event. Claiming tags $40,000 in the condition non-winners of one other than. These are 2-year-old fillies. They're going to go 5.5.
David Jacobson privately purchased a horse named Pom Pom Pistol from Presque Isle Downs off Synthetics. Came to Laurel with her on November 21st, first in the barn. Was beaten that day, but had a rough trip. Came back to redeem herself over a fast main track here in her last start. But Jamie Ness was sharp enough to claim her for himself, I guess. Jagger Incorporated, I believe he's part of that stable. So this private purchase, I think, has plenty of upside potential, who's now claimed into Jamie Ness's barn. I really like the way that she leveled off on the Presque Isle Downs Synthetic. Very, very late kick there. And I thought she'd be a little bit better on the dirt. Never got a chance to prove it 2 back, but a going-away winner last time out. I think this is a timely claim here. Pom Pom Pistol, that's 1A, part of the entry. Got to beat Mo Bagels, though. She's been sharp. She's won 3 of her last 4.
Yeah, and Jamie Ness putting up some good numbers at Laurel. Overall, though, you look, and he still bounces around a number of tracks, the Mid-Atlantic. And he said it in I think it was a Racing Forum interview maybe a year or so ago. He's kind of stepped back from when he was really out there putting up the big numbers. I guess spending some more time with the family. Still pretty decent numbers for Jamie Ness.
Yeah, well, he bought a house here. He bought a house here in Hanover, Maryland. So I know he's a local. He's pretty much almost a local guy now, even though he still runs over the country. Considers Maryland his home.
Yeah, very good. And that may be why the numbers are still holding up in Maryland.
Yeah.
You can concentrate more there. All right. The 8th race today at Laurel Park, optional claimer, 25 tags, non-winners of 2 other than the condition in the 8th. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, going 9 furlongs. What did you think here?
Well, it's a good race here because a lot of attention is going to go to Lion-Hearted Lady with a glaring 83 buyer figure staring you in the face at a mile. I don't know what got into it last time out, but that was 21 days ago. I don't know if she can repeat that. A filly who was way up against it last time out in a crawl of a pace on a muddy track is Luna Time, and we're going to pick her on top today. I think she's one of the better plays on the card. She's going to have more pace to run to today with Brenda's Way. Drink on This. Some fillies down to her inside this afternoon. A pace more suitable to her running style from the Graham Motion Barn, Luna a Time. I'll tell you, I've seen so many horses run these big numbers and not be able to repeat here. And it's on a 21-day rest. The Lion-Hearted Lady maybe one you might want to take a stab against. Hammy's been on a roll, and no doubt about it. I think those are the two to beat, but Luna Time going to be a better price.
Yeah, and just from a handicapping standpoint, you don't know what to do with horses like Lion-Hearted Lady with that big number, because overall it looks kind of like an aberration. So is it a bad number? Did the horse just feel really good that day? Will it come back to more?
Me. She felt good that day.
Yeah.
You could tell visually that, she was at the top of her game. But that was a one-turn mile. This is 9 furlongs, 2 turns, once around Laurel. It's a different ball game here.
All right, and so there are a couple to look at, 5 and 6 in that 8th. All right, let's take a look back. Again, 4 really nice stakes races last Saturday. Got a couple of replays and a couple we'll just talk about because we looked at these races earlier this week, but I do want to relook at least a couple of them. But one we'll just talk about the 2-year-old filly side. And boy, things really played out the form. Some of the horses we talked about last week when we previewed these races, and certainly the 4-5 favorite in the Gin Talking 2-year-old fillies race did it pretty nicely. Lady Sebago under Trevor McCarthy for John Robb. That was a pretty nice win for the horse coming out of a stakes win at Laurel just prior to this as well. So Lady Sebago now looking pretty good.
Yeah, double stakes winner now here over this track, and since they added the blinkers, she seems to have focused. I pay attention to her. I don't know where you are on the replay. The very last part of the race as she pulls away near the wire, her ears kind of go up and flip around a little bit. So I think she's still kind of learning, waiting on horses, and kind of wants somebody to run with late. So I think she's got room for even more improvement. This is a very nice Munnings filly here, Lake Sebago, who I think will continue her march on.
And the Marylander was for the 2-year-old boys, and we have the stretch run of that. We're going to watch number 9 Golden Years get it done as the 2-5 favorite. Started the career with a couple of wins, including the Maryland Millions Nursery, and then prior to this race was 4th in the Lewis, but comes back again and gets bet down to 2-5 and wins really nicely. I thought Here the Chatter on the quick comeback was interesting. Here the Chatter, the number 7 horse, will run third. 21-1 Sizzling Couture's completes the exact in here. But this was a really nice performance for Golden Years, and I was surprised. I pulled up the latest Vegas Derby future odds, and he wasn't on there yet. I was going to be interested to see what his odds were, but Golden Years impressive on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm blaming Frank Vespi on this. I think, I think he said, what did he say? Rodney's not over the top or over the moon with this horse, something like that. And so I didn't pick him on top, even though he had the high number, and I really liked him in that race. I said, well, maybe. But he sure ran like a horse who, showed that his second career start in the Maryland Million race, that he was a real horse. Several horses ran up to him, and he repelled all the challenges through the stretch and wound up winning. But this was his best effort yet. One little something left. He was kind of driving through the lane, but I thought still plenty more. I don't know how far he'll go. So, I guess you're really taking a shot if you can find a Derby future wager on him. But he could be, the Maryland horse aiming for some of the races, say, like the Tessio, things like that, heading up to the Preakness and maybe taking their shot.
Yeah, whether he'll wind up to be a Derby horse or not, as you say, a little bit unknown on the distance. But when they have big performances like that, they usually show up on the list. I was surprised.
Rodney's not the kind of guy, Rodney Jenkins, the trainer, to get any kind of fever, and place him ambitiously, especially with that particular owner with Hillwood Stable. I think they're pretty conservative ownership. They spend a lot of money on horses. Naturally, I'd like to see the horses hit the winner's circle, but they race, quite a bit around here. They've had some really nice horses in the past. Some haven't panned out, but this one, I think maybe the phone was ringing for some offers on this one after that race.
Yeah, and this is the kind of race that does trigger that kind of a situation.
Yeah, the WV bred really coming back in 7 days here. The Chatter kind of had a target on the back. There was more speed to run with that particular horse this time. Didn't come home all that strongly for the final furlong in the Charlestown race. So he'll regroup probably against West Virginia breds and make plenty of money.
Yeah, it was a fun little couple of 2-year-old races. A little later on the card, the Willa on the Move for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And again, the parade of favorites continues. Lady Sibelia gets it done. Talked a little bit about her last week. Is a little bit of a horse for a course. She's done very well at Laurel previously, including right before the win on Saturday, won an optional claiming race. Horse that I thought was going to be interesting was Unbound, in that we don't see a lot of Japanese runners over here. This one had come over from Japan and run second in a stake up at Belmont just prior. Unbound, unfortunately, disappoints, running 6th in here, but Lady Sibelia lives up to her favoritism, winning off by almost 8 lengths.
I think you've got to give Lady Sibelia extra credit, and Horatio Karamanos, the jockey, even more credit for this ride and this run, because last Saturday was kind of a dead inside day. She had the rail, thought she was the speed of the speed in that spot. Indeed, she was. The question was, could she show enough speed without using too much energy to get just off the inside and kick and flash away, which is exactly the way she was handled by Karamanos that particular day. So you also might want to go back through the charts. Any horses who were deep down inside that day, maybe making some runs or involved in duels, some of the cheaper horses perhaps on the card, could come back and pay some dividends for you next time or two out.
And it's worth noting, she benefited from the scratches too. Winning Image and just got in.
True.
Also a lot of early speed.
Yes, that's true. It would have been a very interesting race had Winning Image been with her on the outside to run with her. But she's very quick, no doubt about it. But a lot of credit to the steering there by Horatio Karamanos. That's pretty much all he had to do, and she's right. They're thinking of some better things along the line for her. There's some more stakes races coming up in 2015. And if she continues like she's going, maybe they're thinking even Barbara Fritchie in February.
Yeah, well, she certainly looked it on Saturday. And speaking of looking the part, favorites continue, but this one, no surprise, obviously, as the 30 cent to the dollar favorite, and wins like it. The Jennings that wrapped up the stakes card on Saturday, wrapped up the stakes portion of the card. 8 Too Fast to Catch, the number 2 horse, as we watch the stretch run, wins off by over 10 lengths, goes over $1 million in earnings. And again, just one of those horses that easy to root for the horse, the connections, lots of good stories here. Final start of the career, moves on to eventing, I believe now. 8 Too Fast to Catch, really impressive on Saturday.
Yeah, 8 Too Fast to Catch, final start, did it with plenty of style, didn't get away from the gate in good order, down inside there, going that mile chute, so he had every reason to maybe not win by as far as he did, or maybe throw in a clunker there, given the track condition. It was a pretty soft field for him, granted, but we expected him to win, but not like that.
Yeah.
And so it was a good way to go out. He will be honored, by the way, Saturday, tomorrow here after the 4th race. We'll have a video tribute to 8 Too Fast to Catch and some winner circle presentations and talk with the connections, including trainer Tim Keefe, who, as you said, will retire this horse now. Kind of let him down slowly, bring him to an event as an eventing horse, bring him back in as a eventing horse. His wife, Rumsey, just a great horsewoman all around, will start his new career as soon as he's ready.
Nice, and again, a really nice way to cap off a really nice day down at down at Laurel on Saturday. Dave, got to wrap things up, but as always, appreciate the visit. Good luck this afternoon, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah.